Hi, in this video, let's take a look at the control structures available with Java. Okay, so control structures basically enable you or give you the power to control the flow of execution of the program. Okay, so these are again of the types conditional and iterative. So conditional is basically you execute or skip a block of program based on some particular condition. And iterative is you loop through a set of statements. Okay, like suppose you want to repeat, say, line 6 to line 7 a particular number of times, or till you satisfy a condition. You can do it through these iterative statements. Okay, so here I have the basic kind of the template of my program already ready, so I'll work on it. Let's first save this. My class name is control, so I'll say control dot java. Okay, so under conditional, we have if. I'm sure you must be familiar with most of these, but let's just go through. We have uh, if first of all. Okay, so let's take two variables, int a equal to 4, b equal to 9. Okay, now suppose I want to check a particular condition. Say I want to see if the particular number is even or odd. Okay, so how can we do that? We can use modulus operator for that. If modulus 2, modulus returns the remainder, right? So if you divide any number with 2 and you get the remainder 0, it means it is even. If not, it is odd. So let's try with a first of all. So the syntax is if within parenthesis whatever your condition is, and then in braces the code which you want to execute if this particular condition is true. Okay, so my condition here would be a percentile 2 equal to 0. We've seen, right? Double equal to is used to check the equality of the value of these two numbers. Okay, so if a percentile 2 is 0, then system.out.println a is even. Cool. Sorry. So let's save this. I need to open my command prompt. Okay, I need to compile my program. All good. So let's execute this now. Java control. It says A is even. So that's right. Now, suppose if it is not even, obviously it is odd. Okay, so I want to include that particular case also. So I'll say else. That means if this condition is true, I'm executing this portion, this block of statements. If not, I will execute the else block. Okay, so else system.out.println it is odd. Okay, and instead of A, let's take B this time. Okay, compile it again. Expected semicolon. Okay, it is odd. Okay, so it's working, right? Suppose it is A again. So it's actually supposed to execute only this and not the else part. Okay, so it's either the true block, I mean the if the true condition, or false. So let's compile it. So it says it is even. A is even. It is not showing odd. See, in case I remove this else or I just comment this part, okay, then it will show me both. Okay, So if this is true, it's showing me this part, and this particular statement is not being executed under any condition. So irrespective of this being true or false, this is getting executed. By placing this else, we're skipping this particular part of the code. Suppose I want to say make the grading system, okay? So let's say my marks are stored in some variable. Say my marks are 87. Okay. Now I want to print a corresponding grade to it. Okay. In this case, I'll basically have to check for multiple conditions. So suppose my grading system is like if it's above 90, it's A grade, above 80 is B, and so on. Okay. Let's consider only till D. So how will we write it? If marks are greater than 90, then system dot out dot println grade A, right? Remember, there's just one statement which has to be executed, which needs to be executed under the particular condition. You don't have to put curly braces. Okay, it is optional. But if you have multiple statements under it, you definitely should use the curly braces. Otherwise, what will happen is it'll consider, suppose I have to say grade A and say congratulations. Okay. Okay. So what I actually want, even if I indent it accordingly, okay, what I actually expect is if it is greater than 90, it will show me grade A and print congratulations. But what actually happens when I do this is irrespective of this condition, this particular line, this statement is executed because it is not considered under the condition. Only the first line will be considered under this condition. So, whereas if I put the whole thing in braces, it's considered as a single block, and now it's not showing me anything because this condition is false and I have nothing else to show, okay, no other print statement. Okay, now if it's greater than 90, we're showing grade A. Let's just copy this. Else, if marks are greater than 80, grade B. Notice I'm using else if. That means under the else, I mean, if this condition is false, I'm coming to my else. And under else, I again have another if. Okay. And I can do this continuously. It's called a else if ladder. If it's greater than 70, suppose it's grade C, else, let's say no grade. And remember, I'm not placing a semicolon of after my condition. Okay, because if I put a semicolon, it will consider it to be the end of that particular statement because semicolons indicate termination. Okay, so if I place a semicolon here, it'll not do anything with respect to this particular condition. Okay, it won't consider this statement under this condition. So let's compile it. It says grade B. The marks I've given is 84, are 84, sorry, 87. So 87 falls under the condition of 80 to 90. So it's showing grade B. And you need to be logical while you're giving these conditions, okay? The order of conditions would matter in this case. Because, see, suppose I've given the condition of 70 first, and then I say else if marks greater than 80. Okay, let's try to see what happens in this case. It's showing grade C. Okay, come back to the code. See, Let's just check how the execution goes, okay? So marks are 87. If marks greater than 90, false. So this is not executed. Next, this is not under else, okay? But still, it'll proceed to the next step, right? So here we have an if again. If marks greater than 70, 87 greater than 70, true. So it's printing grade C. Then once this is true, it'll not bother to check the other conditions. Okay, this is true. Now it's not bothered about the else part. So this is so we've done if else, we're done with if else. Else if ladder. We can also put the just a second. We can put this whole part under else condition. Okay. But then you can understand, right? It gets clumsy because of the number of braces. You need to maintain this particular uh, ordering, and the one which is open should be closed appropriately. It should all be maintained correctly, otherwise, it may lead to logical errors. Okay, so this becomes a little clumsy. That is the reason we usually prefer else if ladder. But otherwise, functionality for both of these are same. You can try checking it. Okay. Fine. And then under conditional control statements, we have another thing called switch case. This also, I think you must be having an idea. So what happens in switch case is you cannot, uh, suppose you want to check equality uh, of values. Okay, I mean, suppose. Okay, so if I want to print a particular number in words, okay, so I take a single digit as the input, or I consider it in one of my variables, and then I want to print it in words, okay. So I can use switch case. I'll show you how it works. Switch, and then your variable on which your condition is based, okay. So let's say a, and then case. What you're trying to do is you're trying to match A with the value you're specifying here beside case. So case 1, system dot out dot println 1. Okay. Case 2, let me copy this. Two, three, 4, 5, 5, and 6. I need to change these values also. 4, 5, 6. I think that is enough for now. Okay. And we need to put a break after each one of these, which is very, very, very important. I'll tell you why. Okay. So what will happen here is it'll check if the value of A is equal to 1. If 1, it'll print this. If 2, it'll execute this. If 3, it'll execute this. If none of the cases are matching, then it goes to default, which is optional. Okay. So let's say my default message is not accepted. Okay, so not accepted is my default message. Let's just execute this. So it's showing 4 because I've given A as the input value, which is 4. We've gone till 6, right? So let's say we're giving B, which is having the value of, say, 1. It's showing 1. So the advantage with switch case is that it has lesser ambiguity or confusion as compared to else if ladder also. Okay, like you can see, it's very clear in representation, but it has certain limitations. You can use this only for either integer values or character values. Suppose I want to check if my character is, I'm sorry, C. Okay, and remember, characters are always enclosed in single quotes. Otherwise, it'll consider them to be variables. I think that should be enough for now. So if it is A, it'll show 1. If it's B, it'll show 2. If it's C, it'll show 3. And for these numbers, it'll show this particular thing. I need to change my variable. Okay. Okay. Because it's C, this particular case has found a match and it's showing the corresponding message. Suppose I want to try with some string. Say ABC is my string. Okay. Switch case will not accept it. Okay. By the way, did you notice something? The previous time when we tried with the character C, we had given C, the character, to an integer variable. So an implicit typecasting took place here. Okay. Now, yeah, there's another drawback with switch cases, which is you can look for the exact match of the value, but you cannot look for a range. Like in if, you can say A greater than B, or any such relational operators can be used. But in case of switch, it is only the equality of value that can be checked and not any relation like greater than, less than, etc. Okay, so we're done with the conditional part. Let's now go to iterative statements. Okay, so iterative statements are iterative control structures are basically, as I've told you, they're used for looping of statements. Okay, so we have the first thing, which is called as while loop. Okay, so what happens in while loop is, I'll take another variable again, a equal to say 1. Okay, the syntax for while is while condition keep executing these statements if this particular condition is true. Okay, and like we've seen with uh, if conditions, these braces are not mandatory. Okay, if it's a single statement which you want to execute, you can ignore these braces, but if it is more than one statement, you will need these braces. Okay, so let us say till a is less than 5, I want to display the values of a. Okay, so system dot out dot println a, a simple one. Okay, but each time I will also want the value of a to increase. Otherwise, see, what will happen is it'll print 1. See, it'll come to this condition, a is 1, 1 less than 5, true. So it'll print 1, and then it'll again go back to condition. Again, it is the same condition, 1 is less than 5. So again, it'll keep printing this and it'll become an infinite loop. We don't want that to happen, right? So we need the value of a to increase or decrease or some kind of variation in it. Since our condition is with the upper bound, like we want a to be less than 5 to execute this, let's keep increasing the values of a from 1 to whatever it'll accept. So you know the post increment operator, right? So I'm using that here. So let's just compile it. So it's showing me 1, 2, 3, and 4. So let's analyze what is happening. A equal to 1 initially, 1 less than 5, true. So 1 is printed, right? And then A has been incremented to 2. 2 less than 5, 2 is printed. Increment to 3, 3 less than 5, 3 is printed. Increment to 4, 4 less than 5, 4 is printed. Increment of 5. Now, 5 less than 5 is not true, it is false. So it will not execute this set of statements. It will come out of it. And once it is out of it, it has nothing to execute. So it'll stop there. If we had given another statement here saying last A. Okay, wait. Last value of A. Okay. Then once it is out of the loop, it's showing the last value of A as 5 because last time incremented, but the condition was false. Thus it didn't execute these statements, but the value still remains the incremented value. Okay, so that is while loop. Now, a little modified version of this is the do while loop. Okay, so do. So what it says is do these set of statements while this condition is true. So what happens is, irrespective of the condition initially, okay, for the very first time, it'll come into the loop. Okay. So a is equal to 1. I'm not checking any condition here. I'll directly enter into this block. I'll print the value of A and then increment the value. Then I will check if that condition specified is satisfied. If yes, it'll again go back to this particular thing and keep executing it till this condition is true. And once this condition turns to be false, it'll come out of it and print whatever is followed by it. Print or execute, whatever is there next. Okay, sorry. Okay, so you can see a similar, exactly same output is seen, okay? But how we are implementing it is slightly different here, okay? Suppose this is a greater than 5, okay? So, see, normally the condition you're checking is a greater than 5, 1 greater than 5 is not true. But here the condition is at the exit of the loop and not entry. Okay, so it's not an entry controlled one. Whereas while loop was an entry controlled one. This is do while loop, which is exit controlled. Okay, so without checking the condition, irrespective of the conditions, one time it is definitely executed. And then it'll check for the condition. The condition here is now false because after incrementing, A has become 2. 2 greater than 5 is false. So it has proceeded to the next one and printed the value of 2. So this is do while loop. And then the last one we have is for loop. Okay, the syntax of for loop is slightly different, but once you understand it, it's really convenient to use. Okay, so it basically has 3 statements involved in it, okay, or 3 paths you can say. So for initialization followed by semicolon, updation. I'll tell you what these are. I'm sorry, initialization, condition, and then updation. I will comment this so that we can have it for reference. Okay. So for I'm initializing, suppose A is my variable, okay? So initially I want the value of A to be say 2. Okay, so that will be my initialization. My condition, suppose I want the loop to be executed till A is less than 10. So A less than 10 is my condition. I'm giving these spaces just for clarity, okay? So initialization A equal to 2, condition A less than 10, updation A plus plus. I want A to increment by 1, to get incremented by 1 each time. Okay. Now, when this condition is satisfied, I want to print the value of A. Let's just execute it. Okay. So my loop has started with the initial value of 2. Okay, so 2, and then it has printed 2. After this, so how the execution goes is like this. First, it comes to the initialization, and then checks for the condition. If the condition is true, it'll execute the set of statements, and then go to the updation. Now with the updated value, it'll again go to the condition, check if it is true. If yes, it'll execute this, again go back to the updation. Now, at a particular time, once after the updation, your condition has become false, it'll come out of this loop and proceed with the next statements. Okay, so for 2, it is printed, updated to 3, 3 less than 10, again print, update 4 less than 10, print, update 5 less than 10, so on, so on, so on. And then after 9, after printing 9, increment it by 1, you get 10. 10 less than 10 is false, so you come out of the loop and print last value is 10. Okay, so I hope this is clear.